once in a while I have to do a trying new makeup where like I'm not gonna have my thoughts fully together on every single product by the end of the video. Like we are literally trying some stuff today. None of it, well, one of them is a first impression. The rest of them I've had the chance to play with, but like you're gonna see them in future videos with much more collected thoughts. It's almost just part of the conversation. You know, I want y'all to give me feedback and everything, see what kind of videos you would like these things packaged into the future. But all that said, let's talk about the products that we're going to be trying today. This is the first impression. I just got this in the mail. This is the new Prime and Protect primer from Ciele. So this is an SPF 30 primer. I have no idea what it looks like inside this bottle. We're gonna find out together. I went to Ulta yesterday and I picked up four of the new Strobe blushes from MAC. Initial thoughts here, I am wondering if these are the answer to the NARS serum blushes that we all wanted to love so much that didn't have any staying power. But I also just took it as an opportunity to kind of like check MAC out again because I just always love what they're doing. They had all of the shades of the nude lipsticks that I was not able to get my hands on when they first came out. And so I bought 3 of those. And this came out, I think, like a year ago, and I never got a chance to try it, but this is the new-ish Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation from them. I think we're gonna use this today. I have this in NC10 and it's a fantastic shade match for me. I also, at Ulta, this is actually why I went, I picked up 2 shades in the new Tarte Shape Tape Stick Concealer. I was very intimidated by the shade range. I don't know if y'all saw that on my stories, but like the way that they break the shade range down is one of the most absurd things I've ever seen in my life. And so I waited until I could go in store and swatch these. I ended up with 20B and 12N. So we're gonna be trying those today. I also have new stuff from NARS here. Y'all got a little preview of this, I think, yeah, in my Lisa Eldridge video, but I also picked up the Laguna version of their new like lip serum that I like so much. All that said, y'all, let's go ahead and jump in. I have on my lips right now, it's giving me a little bit of trouble. I hope I didn't give y'all any of that nonsense. It kind of felt like it while it was happening, but I just got in the mail all of these new shimmer Phyto Glow lip balms from Naturium, and I'm just wearing the clear one right now. I'm gonna be honest. I had to look really, really, really close in the mirror to see the shimmer. What is behind me that is so like white? Oh, Bose. Can y'all believe this? This is how I know I've made it in life. Bose sent me noise canceling headphones. Like, for my flight to Portugal, I'm not exactly flying business class, okay? Like, these are gonna come in really handy. All right, let's crack into this primer. That's what it looks like. It's a little bit tinted, fleshy looking, but I know Nikki, and Nikki's not gonna make something that's too light for everybody. I guarantee that that's not a pigment that's gonna be prohibitive for people. It's just a mineral sunscreen, so that's probably why. I already have chemical sunscreen on. Ooh, oh, okay. This is not just a sunscreen, right? An SPF 30, that's a nice thing to add to your makeup routine. I'm not sure that I would necessarily wear an SPF 30 as my only sunscreen, but you start to feel the grip, and that's pretty nice, but it's also glowy, which is what I want in a primer. That's not everybody's gig. If you want a primer that is a sunscreen that is not glowy and actually functions as a really, really, really good primer that extends the wear on your makeup, especially if you need oil control, the Thrive one, do not sleep on that sunscreen primer situation. It is so excellent. It basically has the same clear dimethicone texture that you get from the Unseen sunscreen from Supergoop, except it's just a lot more effective of a formula in every way. And it doesn't irritate my skin, which the Supergoop really does, and my eyes. That's really pretty. That's really, really pretty. I've actually also been testing a lot of stuff from Ismea. I don't know why. I would have like a review for y'all sooner, but I completely blanked on ordering the actual concealer pen, so I got everything else that I was interested in, and then I was like, why didn't I order the complexion product? Like, that is the one thing that I really like gave a crap about, and so that's coming, I think, in the mail tomorrow, so I'll have a review for y'all soon. But this is the color correcting serum that she put out. I got it in the lavender because that's what's recommended for my skin tone, and I have a lot of thoughts, one of them being I am not sure that this isn't just kind of an annoying presence on the skin. Like, it behaves really strangely if you try and powder it, but that's just my preliminary thoughts. Either way, when we do the Ismea review, it's going to be an Ismea review. It's not going to be like intermingled with other things. I want y'all to be able to find it really easily. Plus, I feel like hers is such a capsule collection that like the things are supposed to go together. I want to do my best to see her vision. Okay. Let's go in with this MAC foundation. So again, I got this in NC10. When I was matched back when I was a teenager, I was NC15 in their concealer, and it was such a good match. They had NC 14.5, not NC 15 when I was in store at Ulta, and it was too dark for me. So I guess all of my peels over time and everything, or maybe just my perception of my skin tone has changed a little bit because I prefer going a little bit lighter, but it's such a good match. I did apply too much of this last time. I want to really, really thin it out because it does have that serum bounce to it. And so you do like, I don't know, you kind of have the urge to really keep going and get more and more coverage out of it because it has such a pretty finish to it. But what really appealed to me about this, and the reason that I, decided to buy it in store rather than passing on it because it's not like super new, is that when I swatched it and then I rubbed it in on the back of my hand, it went like mineral powder smooth on the back of my hand. I was like, whoa, you know what I'm talking about? Like when they show you like Bare Minerals, like the original mineral veil, and they put it onto like someone who has mature skin or something, and it just gives that like smoothed glow to the skin, like Pores Who. It did that, and I was like, I haven't seen that in a foundation in a long time, so I want to see if it does that to my face. This stuff's driving me nuts. I feel like my lips are really stuck together. The beauty of this being a MAC foundation or a complexion product in general is that it's gonna have a really gorgeous dry down. Their stuff always has performance built into it. And I also like that MAC, they give you a lot of variety in terms of finishes. They're not like, oh, this is a brand that focuses on dewiness, or this is a brand that focuses on matteness. Anastasia is not going to give you a fantastic dewy skin foundation. They just don't know her. Okay, they tried, they failed, it wasn't pretty. Same goes for Lawless. I feel like Annie Lawless cannot get far enough away from like an oil controlling foundation to give us anything that's particularly like effective for my skin type or like pretty for my skin type. And then you have, Glossier. Glossier is not going to be putting out a matte foundation anytime soon. I say that, maybe they will, but like we're talking stretch concealer is the main backbone of their finishes, right? So MAC really has a lot more options, and of course they've been around forever, but like that's giving a very similar finish to the Backstage Face and Body, except not quite as like heavy. I would say it's actually kind of a lot like the Backstage Face and Body, which is good. I really like that stuff, and actually just decluttered mine because it was like wildly expired. So yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense that I would get this, but look at it. It's very, very pretty. I'm not sure though how much I don't know. It's like when I build it up to the amount of coverage that I really want, I think I'm gonna end up with too much on my skin. Like for some reason, if I use the Lisa Eldridge skin tint, this right here, she is almost empty. No matter how little of this I put on, I don't feel like I ever get that thing where like my blemishes are showing through in this kind of purple gray way. And I don't know necessarily like what about a formula does that or doesn't do that, but like I'm not feeling the confidence after applying that I typically would from like this or the Danessa Myricks skin tint. And it's kind of an intangible, like, or I guess an unquantifiable thing. Like, I don't really know why. I just know that like that's giving me makeup without the satisfaction of the coverage that gives me confidence, and things that have this little coverage still can do that. It's not that I just need more coverage, it's that the coverage itself is weird in nature. But the primer is gripping it nicely and we are maintaining some of that glow. Let's talk about these, okay? Because Shape Tape was that girl for a very long time here in the beauty space. Now, let's be clear, much like anything else when you're my age, it feels a lot more recent than it probably was. I think Shape Tape is probably like over 10 years old at this point, but it really feels like, oh yeah, the other day Shape Tape was the top concealer in town. So they've come out with so many versions of this formula that Ulta, the Ulta I went to, has a two-sided, actually kind of like three-sided, like it has one of the small bays on the end, like an end cap, bay of just concealers. I'm not even sure there are foundations on. There might be foundations like on the bottom row, but the whole top two tiers all the way around this thing are just concealers, and this wasn't even on there. This was in a big display in the front of Ulta. It wasn't even in the regular like bay at Tarte in this store. So anyway, I got these two shades, and as you can see, all of my fears, hello, my earring is not a person, thank you though. As you can see, all of my fears about finding a shade, or I guess buying the wrong shade, looking at their shade range and being like, oh no, I'm gonna make the wrong choice. Those fears were quite silly because I think everyone probably has at least 2 shades in this range that match them. So I wanna give them credit where credit's due. I don't feel like people talk enough about how Tarte has given everyone so many options in terms of skin tone and formula when it comes to their complexion products. I don't know about their foundations, but definitely like they took the Shape Tape baton and ran with it to the horizon. So we have here the shades 20B and 12N. So 20B is going to be this deeper one right here that really, really blends into my skin tone. And then 12N is going to be just slightly brighter. So I'll use both and we'll see how it goes. It's really pretty though. I love a stick concealer. And also y'all, okay, so in my gifting tab on my Shop My Shelf, yesterday I looked at it and it was from Bare Minerals, and Bare Minerals usually just sends me boxes of things. I've talked about this in the past. It's like never what's new. It's just like a box of Bare Minerals, and I'm like, I don't really know how to contextualize this. I'm starting with the one that's closer to my skin tone, and I'm gonna use that like up here. Look at that, woo! If I wanted coverage, there it is. But this was like a select your shade kind of situation, and I was like, oh, what am I selecting my shade in? The Bare Pro 16-hour concealer stick. The one that was abolished for some reason a few years ago. Again, probably less recently than I'm remembering. It was so good. That stuff was so good. And they are sending me a new one. It's coming back. We did it. We bullied them into it. That's just a very exciting development for me because Bare Minerals, a lot can be said about them, but I will say that their stuff is more or less within reason of price. You know, now I haven't loved everything from them, obviously, lately. Some of their complexion products have been a real bust, and they did offer in gifting the original mineral foundation liquid thing that they came out with like last year or a couple of years ago, and I don't recommend that stuff at all because it doesn't dry down. It's beautiful, but it doesn't dry down. It just goes like sludge forever. It's like an attempt at making kind of like a next evolution of the Kosas tinted oil, except we already have that, and it's called the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Tint, and this is far more sophisticated, like far more sophisticated. So it was answering a question that no one asked, and it is a very, very frustrating formula. Can we talk about how great that shade match is? Like, we are erasing all of my sins, like all of the things that I've mashed in the past that are like showing through my skin in sort of like purpley ways. That is awesome. 20B, if you are like a skin twin for me, 20B is going to be such a great skin tone match. Like, look at how like neutral and desaturated that is. And they're calling it beige, but I think that, you know, that's what the B stands for. I think that beige in this case means like it's gonna be an even less saturated version of a neutral, maybe almost towards olive. Even though they define these things in that stupid wheel, and I do not remember what they actually defined this as. But my goodness, is that pretty. It's like the NARS Complete Concealer in the sense that it has a lot of coverage, but it's just much more of a skin finish. That's the thing with the NARS, is I feel like when it catches the light, you see mattified spots of coverage, and that bugs me. Now I'm gonna go in with 12N, which is the brightening match for me, but it's just like one shade more. There is a shade in between, but it is very cool, I want to say, or like it's just a more extreme temperature of some persuasion, either very cool or very warm. So I swatched these in store, and you can see that's definitely brightening, definitely brightening. So there's something to be said for that. I love a stick concealer because you get this really flexible coverage out of it. And I won't say, I mean, not every stick concealer, but it's like most of them that I've tried, they just have this beautiful creaminess to them. And somehow it's like, they don't obviously like completely set down, but they set down enough. And you can get such variable coverage. You could really build it up, or you can use a whisper of it and get a lot of versatility out of it. One of the things though that they advertise as the perk of this, you know, like one of the selling points is that like 100% brightening around my nose. 100% of the people who tried this said that it didn't break them out. apparently that was a really big issue with the original Shape Tape, is it was breaking everybody out, which is such a weird thing to like call out, because I feel like nothing breaks anyone out anymore. I feel like that was such a huge issue in like drugstore makeup for so long that it was like, is this going to break my acne out? Is this going to give me cystic acne? And that just didn't stay in the conversation forever. It was just, people were like, yeah, okay, we're going to make non-comedogenic and like hypoallergenic formulas, and then, you know, that becomes the norm. Apparently not. Apparently Tarte was still stuck in the dark ages, but this one, for whatever reason, they're claiming that it isn't going to do that. So I love the way that that looks. That's really pretty, and it was fun to use. It was very, very satisfying to use. By the way, this is a really old Beauty Pie angled concealer brush. They do some of the best brushes. Wow, look at my under eyes. I mean, granted, they're gonna crease a little bit because this one bends really hard right there. It's gonna happen no matter what if I don't powder it, but for now, wow. Those are two very high-tech formulas. We're gonna be working in layers of liquid and powder here, so I need to be strategic about how I approach this. I need to find a contour that I want to wear right now. I think I want to use the new Charlotte Tilbury. I have been really enjoying working with the formula from Rare Beauty, but I've also found that sometimes it's too subtle for me. I think I'm really going for summer skin right now. This can get really out of hand really quickly though, so we'll see. And it's very much like not a typical like contour shade. That's very much a bronzer shade, but for me, but regardless, it will be cute. We will do it. It will be cute. I'm going to be very, very careful. I also got this new product from Divi. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Divi. It's this hair company that was started by Danny Austin. She has always had problems with her hair thinning, and so she came out with a hair care line. I actually really appreciate someone who has challenges in an area coming out with a line, because it's not like, you know, Kylie Jenner being like, here's my skincare line. I'm like, you have no problems, okay? Like, you're not using your skincare. You're going and having very expensive medical professional things done. I'm not going to like believe you on that. If a person actually is like in search of something to alleviate an issue for themselves, and then they decide to fill that part of the market with something that they've created, you have my attention. And so I also have thin hair that is a little bit temperamental, let's say. It's like anytime something bad in my life happens, if I'm not like on top of my vitamins, my hair just goes pah. It just quits. Like, she just jumps ship so easily. And so she came out with a hair powder that's like supposed to fill the hairline in, right? And I love that concept because it's on this little sponge and you can just like work it into your hair that way. Did I bring it up here? Did I? I might have. But the whole thing is like, that's why I use contour around my hairline a lot of times, is so that it gives the appearance of my hair having like a thicker, more present hairline. A lot of times when I'm like taking a picture of myself in natural light, the natural light will like hit my hairline and it will make my hairline look like an inch higher than it is, because it only catches the baby hairs and then it like reflects off of them. And I'm like, can we not do that? Can we just like not do that? Because like natural light is supposed to be so flattering. Okay, that's still kind of patchy and still kind of warm for what I would typically go for, but we're just gonna chase that feeling. I really like this formula. I do wish that it was a cooler tone. All right, let us go in with this NARS palette. I feel pretty stupid for buying this because I was just excited about the whole Amalfi Coast of it all, but like, it's just Thrill, Laguna, and then Ophelia and Bad Behavior, which are two eyeshadow level highlighter kind of things. In fact, what are they calling this? A cheek palette. So they're trying to tell us that those are highlighters, but that's a pretty bananas highlighter. The pink at least, like wowza. I don't think I'm gonna be using it as a highlighter anytime soon. Maybe an eyeshadow. We don't have any new eyeshadow today, so maybe I'll use it. I'm gonna start with Laguna because I do actually really like the effect of this. It's just a little bit too pigmented for my skin tone. I wish that it was a little slower to build because it's like you can get in trouble really fast. I think that a lot of bronzers for many, many years were aiming, you know, they'd have like one shade. They would just basically aim for the middle of like skin tones, skin levels, skin temperatures, and they're like, this is our bronzer. singular. And so Laguna being the quote unquote most popular one is like similar to like Orgasm being popular. It's because, okay, we didn't have any other options. No one cares about that anymore. Make like a good one. And they have expanded the shade range quite a bit, but they also still call everything like Laguna 1 or Laguna 2. Calm down, call it something else. Especially because NARS really has had like new life breathed into it recently. I would love to see that extend to things like this. Their like face palettes do tend to be kind of underwhelming. There was actually a special edition one that was at Ulta a couple of years ago. I ended up throwing it away. I don't know what was different about those formulas, but it hard panned and like there was no going back. But that's not bad. I like Laguna. She nice. I also have the cream version of it. I did a big roundup of cream bronzers a few years ago, and so it's probably expired. Okay, let's talk about these Strobe blushes here. I mean, what harm does it do to swatch all of them? Who cares? These will be, like I said, in a future like full roundup. I'm gonna actually like give you more of a review on them, but in the meantime, I have noticed that the lighter shades, like the lighter you go, the more of the shimmer you notice. And so the, you know, the more intense the pigment, the more it behaves like an actual blush, which is good and bad, but I do feel like it's valuable information because you might buy this thinking, oh, that's a really beautiful pale peach blush, because all of these, you really can't see as much of the shimmer, but that pale pink blush is very, very highlightery versus these guys. So that is Lava Light. This is unsweetened. The light peach there is called Starlight, which maybe they have said like it is a highlighter. I'm not sure. And then Apricot Jelly is very clearly Apricot Jelly. Do we go coral? What happens if I use Apricot Jelly? I'm choosing violence. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use Starlight and kind of give it a highlightery base right here, and then we'll do like a pop of coral. Listen, it's spring and I cannot be stopped. So there's that. And I also, from the Isomea collection, got one of the cheek duos. First of all, massive. Thought it was gonna be this microscopic package of something, and it is huge. Okay, that is very much a highlighter, yeah. Let me do a little bit more. That's lovely. But also, the color that I got is that bright coral orange, and it is quite committed in terms of being orange. Okay, so there's Starlight. Again, not a blush. Do they say it? No, Beam Liquid Blush. That's what they call it. And this is, yeah, they're all Beam Liquid Blushes, but that is very much a beam. Maybe on someone really pale, it could be a blush, but it's kind of overwhelming in the sense of the shimmer to wear enough for it to be a blush. I think that that's all about to change though with this one. It is so, it was the one that I kind of was on the fence about even buying because it looks so pigmented, but it's also really sheer. You know what I mean? It's like a very vivid color, but it doesn't appear to be incredibly saturated in like the pigment in the formula, like the suspension. So, oh, okay. That is really nice. Look at that. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, that's really lovely. That's very easy. I tried Lava Light and Unsweetened yesterday, and I did get a bit of pink face from Unsweetened. It is a lot more mauve than I thought. I was going for kind of like rusty clay colors with those, and I like how nuanced they are, but it did go blush face pretty quickly. That's freaking gorgeous. We are going to see how long it lasts on my skin though, because like I said, that delivery system, this texture of product is very much reminiscent of those gorgeous Afterglow blushes that we got from NARS a few years ago, and it was just heartbreaking because they don't last on the skin. Okay, that was too much. There we go. Okay, consider Apricot Jelly very, very beautiful. Thumbs up. Like, just a really great color if you're looking for a coral, especially because I feel like due to the fact that it is not ashy in any way, in fact, it probably needs a little bit of those mid-tones brought in, that someone with deep skin could get a really satisfying payoff from that color because it doesn't have any white in it. Not noticeably, at least. Only enough for it to be opaque, but it doesn't have that like my skin tone built into it, which is nice. So we have very effectively overdone it on the blush, but I do have a feeling that it's going to fade. So if not, I will be blush faced today, and that's fine. Y'all, I have not powdered, and look at my freaking under eyes. They look amazing. They look so good. They look so hydrated. They look so smooth, and the product is so thin on them. That's nice. I'm really into those concealers. I kind of knew I would be. I'm going to swatch these MAC lipsticks for y'all. It's kind of going out of order from how I would typically do a video, but I got 3 of these, and honestly I had to talk myself out of buying more in different formulas because they had everything. It was awesome. It's like they restocked everything. So I did get the 2 that I had been coveting, which are Alone Time and Signature Move, but I also picked up Uncensored. Alone Time is more of a mauve brown, but it's in the, what's it called, luster glass formula, and so it's really sheer. They're gorgeous. They're really hydrating. It's like that beautiful, it's like a tinted lip balm kind of lipstick. Signature Move is going to have like more of a neutrality to it, a little bit more of just kind of like a rusty brown, you know? So you can see that's giving a little bit more mauve, and that's giving a little bit more red. And then we have Uncensored, which I have not even tried. Well, I tried it in store, but I haven't tried mine yet. And this one is really interesting because it's like a sheer, cool brown. It's like got a little tiny bit of like blue in it, a little tiny bit, but it's not, I wouldn't say that it's purple brown. Ooh, it's pretty though. I think it would work really well on olive skin tones. I bet Nicolette already knows that. You know what I mean? She's swatched everything. I think she got all of these in PR. Let's just try them. You know what I mean? Let's just see, because I might be surprised. I'm gonna go with the darkest one because I haven't tried this yet. Again, this is like one of those videos where you know as much as I do. And something to keep in mind with these is that they're going to blend with your natural lip color because they're sheer. They really are just like a wash that's gonna combine. Like, think of them that way. Oh, that's so freaking pretty. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I thought that was gonna be so severe, but it reminds me of the Rabanne. I'm gonna swatch it against the Rabanne Soul Kiss because I know that's what everyone's curious about. Woof. That one, I think that one's staying on. This is what my lips look like when I've been in the sun too long. Like if I get a quote unquote sunburn on my lips, they turn this color. Like this rich kind of like deep red. Woo, y'all. I went through my lip products because they had basically made the drawer collapse in my, you know, cheap IKEA storage furniture. And I went through and I just savagely decluttered all of it. And it was all because it's expired. Like it wouldn't have been a helpful thing to share with y'all to be like, yeah, these are all expired, that's why I'm getting rid of them. It's not like a preference thing. I'm like, oh, this is bad. Oh, yeah, okay. So there's the Rabanne and there is Uncensored, which is what I have on right now. So the Rabanne is a little bit purpler, and it is just a little bit sheerer, right? It is just, by the way, this is what I'm talking about. This is Soul Kiss in the Rabanne Love Balm. In fact, let's go ahead and swatch. I think that maybe Alone Time is gonna be even more similar. Alone Time is still more nude. Like this is still so purple. Signature Move is not at all. You know what I mean? It's still got that red in there that doesn't look like that very much. Interesting. Very interesting, but I was not expecting to love that lip color as much as I do. I really thought it was gonna be severe on me, but it's giving such a natural effect that looks like a sunburn on me that it's kind of going with the look really flawlessly right now. And it's really comfortable. On my eyes, we're gonna do something probably really boring because I want everything else to like stand out. Like I said, it's gonna be boring. I think I'm gonna work with these to see if they are effective at creating an eye look and what else I need to pull in. I'm just gonna wing it. In the moment, and also right now as I'm editing, I am very aware that I could have left it off right here. Like it is such a natural sunburned looking effect that if I had planned around that, I think that I would have been satisfied with it. I had just planned in my head to also do an eye look and everything like that, so I just saw it all the way through. And I like both, but I know that there are going to be a lot of people commenting being like, I wish you just left the eye look off, and honestly, I'm kind of with you. work, y'all. I mean, it's like, I was so excited about the effect of, you know, it looking like a sunburn and everything, and now I just look so done. I like when my eyes are done. I like feeling pretty, and honestly, once I get used to how it looks, I catch myself in the mirror and I actually don't look like I'm wearing that much makeup on my eyes. What looks like I'm wearing a lot of makeup is my lips. I want to try some other stuff. We have so many other things. I just like want to show you everything that I have here and what it would look like if I were wearing that on my lip. So let's do a lip product speed run. We've got a lot of them. All right. So the first one that I want to show y'all is the Laguna Afterglow Lip Oil. Yeah, so this is more of a liquid lip balm. They do have a lip gloss that's thinner than this. I prefer this formula, but watch as this goes on because it's gonna be like liquid eyeshadow and then it just suddenly looks normal. It's weird. Liquid eyeshadow. Pretty normal. No smell, no flavor. Comfortable to wear, looks perfectly normal with this, but like, is it anything to write home about? I don't know. Not really. Not once you have it on, just kind of looks like a regular old lip gloss. I don't really feel like it improves the situation at all, you know? Like, it's pretty, but like, I'm very overall disappointed with this. Final thoughts on that. Disappointed. Let's try the other two MAC lipsticks so that you can see. So Uncensored was the one that I had on. Let's go in with Alone Time. So much anticipation built over getting these shades. We might as well give them the attention that they deserve. There's Alone Time. Freaking gorgeous, you know? So pretty. That's the kind of mauvier one. I could wear that any day. It doesn't really go with this look all that well, but it doesn't like not go either because it just kind of looks like it's my lips. And then we have Signature Move, and this is the one that's got a little more red to it. It has a really similar effect to Uncensored on me just because I feel like it's got more of my lip color built in, but when they both sheer out, they kind of do the same thing. I will say I think I prefer Uncensored just because it does less. It's nice. I actually am surprised that I like Uncensored better. Now I want to show y'all / open up like one of the more pigmented shades in this Phyto Glow from Naturium because I was just wearing the clear one. I want to see what the actual colors look like. This one looks like it's got quite a bit of pigment in it. This is Galaxy. That's pretty. It looks a little bit mauve though. I mean, am I surprised? But it's a little stiff. Ew. Okay, can confirm there is color and it's nice. Sparkle, I don't really know. Like, yes, there is, but like if you're gonna talk about it being shimmery, I want it to be shimmery, you know? But that's really pretty. Okay, that makes me want to pick a color that is closer to what we have, like an orange almost, but I don't know if they have that. Might end up going in with my Hermes orange lipstick, honestly. One of the biggest things that comes out of videos like this a lot of times is that you get to see, if you're interested in it, you get to see me kind of like work through my process of trial and error before I'm just like presenting a look to you all finished. Like this is what I do. I kind of just try things and I'm just like, listen, it needs more orange. How much more orange does it need? It apparently needs Hermes orange. Okay, so yeah, this is the Rouge Hermes in Brilliant Poppy and that's what works today. That's the orange that my soul needed today to go with everything. It's at least a little bit of excitement. Good God. All right, let's talk final thoughts on these. I mean, it's preliminary final thoughts on these things with a couple of exceptions, but I think one of the things, and I would love to have a conversation with y'all in the comments about this, like one of the things that I'm experiencing with this MAC Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation is that the color or the formula or both together gave my skin kind of a tint. Even though it was a really, really good match, it still did that thing where it kind of made my freckles gray. And I feel like I'm fighting my pigmentation so hard right now. And I don't feel like it would necessarily do that if my skin were showing through more in something, as long as the color of my freckles and of my pigmentation was like more sincere, but it took what is normally warm and turned it dull. I just want to say I've worn this all day and it's absolutely gorgeous, but it is interesting to me how the NC neutral cool of it all. I have been Googling and trying to understand, but like MAC considers a neutral cool to be yellow green, which makes sense, I guess, because that's sort of what I am, but yellow is definitely more warm. And then, so I guess they're calling that neutral. And then to add blue and make it a little green is technically a neutral cool. I think of a neutral cool as going pink, not olive, but okay, I guess that makes sense. You know what I mean? I'll give that to them. But it's interesting that it's such a good match for me, and yet whatever the cool tone that's in there is that green is what's kind of working against my freckles. And there isn't like a better shade for me that I was able to see on at least the display at Ulta. MAC's shade range is really weird. Putting it on, it had a beautiful finish, but it didn't make me feel that kind of, like I said, unquantifiable confidence boost that I get from something like the Lisa Eldridge or from the Nessa Meyer's skin tint. Now these, one of the things that Tarte has always had going for it is that it is so user-friendly. Like it is something that's super, super approachable. I think that I have overheard, God, a dozen conversations over the last couple of years if I'm in a beauty store, right? Sephora or Ulta or something where someone is asking one of the people who works there like, hey, I've been using this one Tarte palette forever, but it got discontinued and blah, blah, blah. Because it's like, for all the people who aren't necessarily looking for the next exciting thing on the market, Tarte is an incredibly reliable brand. They have a lot of shades and they have a lot of really easy to use formulas. And this is no exception. I think that you could look at this and be like, really? Did we need another concealer from Tarte? I don't know. I don't know if we needed another concealer from Tarte, but I think that this one is a good addition. You know, there might be a throwaway here or there in terms of all the different finishes of Shape Tape, but I like this one a lot. It's kind of giving me Tom Ford vibes, okay? Like, it's kind of giving me Tom Ford vibes. I'm not sure that I would be able to tell the difference between the two. So between that and the shade range, while difficult to navigate on their website, if you go into an Ulta, it's very easy to test them, but also I think that the fact that it's so vast works to your advantage because both of these work equally well for me and they're two different shades. I kind of feel like they have that for everyone. You know, everybody could kind of take a stab and probably get like really, really close and it would work for them. So do not sleep on this. Although, ooh, that is one thing they should have done. You see that diamond shape right there at the top? They should have done a recessed one on the bottom so that they could like to each other, or the lid could do that. That would be cool. That is neither here nor there. These are lovely. I really like these a lot. And I also like that the shades that I got are so good. Like the under eye brightening shade is great and the skin tone match on 20B is awesome. It's so good. It's like thrilling to watch it go on and just disappear. Also, I did not powder. I didn't end up powdering. I was like, oh, that's definitely gonna crease underneath my eyes. And it has not. Phenomenal stuff. I will keep experimenting with it. I mean, I like it enough that I'm probably just gonna keep using it in my regular routine. It's very easy. I think that a cream like that is intuitive to use because it doesn't have any transformation on the skin. So what you see is what you get, essentially. You're not putting a liquid on and then like waiting to see what happens in the next 30 minutes or so. So there's that, but also I'm gonna kind of keep working with it to see how it works on like a bare face, for example. Like if it's gonna give me a really natural finish that I don't need to wear foundation with and stuff like that. So there is more testing to be done, but wow, am I impressed with them. They're really, really nice. Like I said, the thing that I would compare them most closely to is the Tom Ford. Okay, the Strobe blushes have not faded. And if you're watching this and you're like, khaki, maybe over the course of the day they would fade. I'm telling you, the NARS ones set my expectations so low. You could watch over the course of me filming a video, which usually takes about an hour, you could watch them fade. And I didn't put them on right at the beginning either. So I mean, they would fade within 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Like you could observe it and you would have to put it back on. Like it was that bad. And this is not. It's 7 o'clock at night. I filmed this at like noon. I think the blushes are gonna stick around. You know, it looks really good. The thing that I would say for these is that like the lighter you get in the shades, the more you're getting into highlighter territory. So bear that in mind. And then the very saturated shades are actually like pretty translucent and gel looking. They don't have that like white, like super obvious white backing of opacity that's gonna go ashy on deep skin tones. At least not this apricot shade that I got. And honestly, I love how unabashedly orange this is. It makes me really happy because then it allowed me to go in with something unabashedly orange here. And I am feeling unabashedly orange right now, okay? It's why I also got this one from Ismea. Like, it doesn't look that orange. It looks like it's really coral, but it's actually pretty stinking orange when you put it on. And that's the mood that I'm in right now. And I think that those blushes are awesome. They are very much, yes, they have some shimmer to them. The deeper ones don't have very much noticeable shimmer to them. It's just like a nice blurring quality, but I really feel like they are the answer to those NARS blushes that we wanted so badly to have them work. For all of my my anticipation, waiting for the Luster Glass lipsticks to come back in stock in these shades so that I could buy them, I am very satisfied with my purchase because this formula is a delight, okay? It is so sheer and it's so easy to use, easy to wear, and these colors are exciting for me. I think we've all experienced the issue with nude lipsticks or nude lip products in general, where you need it to be committed in a certain direction. You need it to be warm enough for you, or desaturated enough for you, or like truly like green or red or pink enough for you. And these give you options. Someone actually took the time to make these nuanced shades that you have to swatch next to each other to see the differences between. They're almost like someone made skin tone shade ranges, but of lipsticks. And while I had the mattes, and I think that they're awesome, this serves a totally different purpose. They're so easy to wear, and I cannot say enough about these shades. Especially if you love that Rabanne lip balm and you want to kind of run with that feeling and do some different tones of it, that's what this is giving you. It's awesome. My eyes are just boring. It was just boring. I put on a bunch of stuff that you've already seen. The main thing that you're seeing here is the Disco Crush from Too Faced, which I continue to be an apologist for Too Faced just for that product. I think it's lovely. Magic Sprinkles, no powder, no setting mist, and look at the finish on my skin. So I do think that the finish on my skin can be attributed in part to this Ciele primer, which did not just give me a beautiful luminized finish, but also gave me grip. You can feel it as it's going on. And I think that it's really lovely. It's very pretty. Again, another thing that I want to try and use on its own, like use this and concealer, not put a foundation on top, see what it looks like kind of thing. And there is more testing to be done, but I was too excited to share these things with you. And sometimes it is just as fun and helpful to see my process and maybe see me do some trial and error. I don't know, maybe that's helpful. Maybe it's just fun to hang out. I think that's really the gist of it, y'all. I hope that you enjoyed, again, watching me sort of go through this and speak my thoughts out loud as I went. You're gonna be seeing these products in roundups that are a little bit more, you know, intuitively grouped going forward, and I'll have final thoughts on them. But if you did appreciate seeing all this stuff in progress, then go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. If you're new here or you just haven't subscribed yet, subscribe while you're here. I will put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. Thank you all for being here. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.